Hello everyone, this is Lynn with Psychic Focus at psychicfocus.blogspot.com, and today's topic that I chose off the blog is called Ghost Ship. And I'll just go ahead with the question. It says, can you look at this ghost ship? Ghost ship appears after 9 years and something's not right. And there was a YouTube link tied to it. If you'd like to see a little more, it's on the original post, which I will also have that in the remarks area on the Real Video website. And there was also an article associated with it. And I'll just give you a quick synopsis of the article, and then that way you can see what the question was based around, and then I will follow it up with my response. So, in the article, and it's a pretty short article, also I will leave the link to that in the original blog post as well, says there's a sudden appearance of a massive ghost ship off the coast of southern Myanmar, and it shocked the local fishermen who were stunned to find that there was no cargo or traces of any crew on this boat. After nearly a decade lost at sea, it ran aground onto a sandbar approximately 7 miles off the coast of Thammasetta village of this week. And a fisherman boarded and inspected the ship after reporting it to local authorities, and teams from the Navy, Coast Guard, police all subsequently searched it and talked about how huge this was, that there was no crew, no cargo found on the ship, and it was quite puzzling how such a big ship turned up in their waters. And they just went on to talk about, how it sailed under the Indonesia flag, was spotted in Taiwan, or off the coast of Taiwan, in 2009. When the Navy inspected the ship on August 30th, it split in half, having been beached on a sandbar for several days. So, really interesting. So basically this boat, this huge ship, appears out of nowhere. It's been gone for a decade and nobody's on it. There's no cargo on it, and it just appeared, went beached onto this nearby land or whatever. So the question was, how does this appear after 9 years? What's going on? What happened? And what's the story behind this boat, this ship, just appearing out of basically nowhere? And so I thought about this and really focused on this and focused on what is the backstory behind this? How did it get to be where it is? And I wanted to know details, so I felt myself in my mind trying to go and rewind, trying to go backwards to see how did this all transpire? What's the full story? And when I did that, it played out to me, I would say, kind of like a little mini movie, or more even maybe like a commercial. So I would get little bits and pieces and then try to put it all together, sort of like a puzzle. But when it came to me, I first saw this crew, and they were boarding the ship, and they were all excited, and it wasn't the vibe of, oh yay, we get to go on a fishing trip, or we get to go leave and go to sea. It wasn't that. It was more, there was this excitement that they had a job, that they had the ability to earn money. It felt like times were really tight, like the economy where this all started. It was just tough times in their country and nearby countries and everything. So it had that underlying vibe to it. So I'm seeing these people and they're grateful. They're like, yes, we have work. They felt just very appreciative to even have a job, because it was such a struggling time for a lot of people and a lot of families. So to be able to provide for your family, that felt just like a great feeling, to be able to do good for them. And so then I see that they are at sea for a short time, and it looked like the ship started to have some mechanical problems. And I'm not an engineer. I don't understand the science or mechanics of how ships work, but it looked like there was some kind of a tandem system. Like there was either 2 engines or 2 turbines, or there was some kind of a dual function, and it felt like one was compromised. But even with one being compromised, it was as if the other could compensate for it. Not for a long time, but on a temporary basis, in case there was some sort of a hardship when you were at sea, you had like this backup system, and that's what I felt like they started to do. So even though it was a concern, it wasn't a huge concern, because they were able to operate still on this backup basis. And so they were at sea, having some mechanical issues. They overcame a lot of those problems, knowing that they could just get where they needed to go, return back, get paid, and, go on. So then I see that it was almost like in my mind it panned out, and I could see that other countries were dealing with a lot of hardships as well, as I'd mentioned earlier. And so pirating was a huge issue because where they were, it looks like fishing was a huge industry for the economy, just, people in boats in general. There was just a lot of opportunity for pirating to happen because of, one, the economy being bad, people are desperate, and two, there's a lot of people at sea, so people could kind of get plucked off easily depending on where you are and if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. And I get that that's exactly what happened to the ghost ship. The ghost ship was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and basically they were attacked by pirates. And so these pirates came on board and basically took the crew as hostage and also had the goods that were on board as well. And so they took part of the pirate crew, I guess, for lack of a better way to explain it. The pirate crew, half of them drove the pirate ship, and the other half kept the crew on this ghost ship hostage, taking them to a port where they could basically try to sell things or exchange things, barter, that type of activity. And then after that happened, after they, ported the boat and they did that, I see that they decided they wanted to take the boat back to their home country, which felt somewhere off the Indian Ocean. So when they, sold what they could, kept the pirates hostage, or kept the ghost ship crew hostage, took them out into the Indian Ocean, the boat actually finally broke down because it could only sustain on that backup system for so long. The pirates got irate, and then the next thing you know, they basically executed the crew of the ghost ship because they felt the crew was useless because the boat was inoperable. They sold what they could. They scavenged everything else, and then they ended up leaving and left the boat where it was. And then, fast forward some time, the boat ends up resurfacing and landing on the sandbar, and that's where it was found. So that's how I see this whole story playing out. It was very traumatic for the crew, traumatic for the family of the crew. I'm hopeful that because this boat was found, there can be some closure to those families. It was really a horrible ordeal for, everyone involved with this. So that's what I got. And basically that's all I had for this reading. But I'm happy to answer questions. If you have any questions you want to leave in the remarks, and I thank you for listening to this. I also like to tout out there, if anybody wants to check me out on Patreon, I'm very humbled by that as well. And I guess that's really all I have for today. And again, I'm Lynn with Psychic Focus at psychicfocus.blogspot.com. Thank you. Bye.